Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Mohammed and I'll be your presenter today. We are the technology that allows you to review videos fast, hence the name BriefCam. For the purposes of this presentation, I will walk you through the demo. We invented and own the worldwide patents for the video synopsis solution. This analytic feature allows organizations to review hours of video in minutes, sometimes even seconds. But we are so much more than that. We have a platform approach to video analytics. BriefCam's solution is a trifecta of complementary solutions, empowering users to transform video into actionable intelligence. BriefCam uniquely fuses computer vision and deep learning technologies, making videos searchable, actionable, and quantifiable. What you see right now in front of you is our thin client. We don't have a fat client. It's a server client architecture. And as you can see, I'm using my Google Chrome, and I will be logging into the system with my servers being in the US through my browser. And as simple as that, with my credentials, I'm able to log in, and it always opens up to our review module. As I previously mentioned, it's a trifecta. The better together paradigm works well with us. And how we do it is we've got the review module, the respond module, and the research module. For the first part of my presentation, I will stick to the review module. I like to go from an outside-in perspective, and I will start with a city planning video. So let's take a highway scene. As you can see that this is a highway scene, and as the video starts rolling, the first thing I'd like to do is stop the video right here and show you that all the objects on the screen have a timestamp, and the timestamp is 9:57 on this object and 10:22 on this object, and both of them are right next to each other. And this is brought about because of our patented video synopsis software, which removes the dead space between all the objects and presents it in one clean screen. This video, as you can see, is about 90 minutes long, but we are able to show all the objects of the video within 7 minutes and 47 seconds. And that's the time to target, which is what really helps law enforcement. Besides that, we have 28 different filters and classes. It could start with the source, the time range, the class of the objects that are available in the video, the attributes of these objects, color, size, speed, and so on and so forth. To exemplify this, let me try and have some fun with this video. The intelligence that was available to us is that it's a car, and this car is red in color. And what you can see right now is out of 3,488 objects, there are 272 red vehicles in the scene. And the officers wanted to know which were the illegal cars that were driving over the shoulder. And with my arrow, next thing you know, all the cars that were driving illegally on the shoulder are depicted in the scene, and there were 37 of them. At this point, I'd like to change the scene a little bit and move on to showing you objects such as people, because that's another really important factor. Now, in this scene, we were told that there's a woman who's wearing a backpack and blue pants, and if you can find her, please. So I chose a woman. So everybody that's not a woman on the scene has been removed. The other thing I did was put the backpack on her, and we were even told that she was wearing a hat. And within a couple of clicks, out of 226 objects, you have the one person who fits the description. She's wearing a hat, she's wearing a backpack, and she's wearing blue pants. And that's how quickly we can get to the time to target. At this point, I would like to move on to our respond module, just to show you how it works on our respond module. So here comes our respond module. So everything that you saw, all the 28 classes and filters that you saw on our review forensics module, now we have the ability to create these rules so that live alerts could take place and we could be notified up to the minute. So the way to do it in BriefCam is we have to create a rule. We've got 3 types of alerts. We could have real-time alerts, which is basically alerts that are triggered within 5 seconds of us creating the rule. This is for emergency situations. This is for situational analysis of an event that's happening right now. So let me go into that one. So first thing I do is I call it a name. So this rule was on City Road, for instance. Click on Next. I choose City Road, which is the camera that is there. I click on Next, and now I have several options. I have an option to continuously run this in real time. I have an option to then run this rule once from a certain date to a certain date, from a certain time to a certain time. I have the option to run it daily, or I have the option to run it on certain days of the week from a certain time to a certain time. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'll stick to continuous. And now I have the option, because this is, again, it's an emergency situation. It's quickly we need to take an action. So the information that was received was it's a two-wheeled vehicle that we're going to look for. And as soon as any two-wheeled vehicles shows up in this scene, we will be notified. I will click on create, and automatically this rule has been created. And now we have this rule. Furthermore, I have the option to share this rule with other officers if I needed to, or other security personnel, or I have the option to also duplicate these rules on other cameras, and I can duplicate the rule as well. If I were to go back to creating another rule with more time on my hands, now I can have a more detailed rule in place. And I would do that by, let's create city road rule number 2. So my previous option shows up, and I have the ability to then just edit it, click on next. I will choose the rule again, and this time I'm going to keep it continuous as well, but I want to have several other rules in place. So I don't want anyone to be riding their bicycles on the pavement, because that's for pedestrians only. So I'm going to click on an area, and I'm going to say, if any bicycles show up in this area, please notify us so that we can take corrective action. That would be one. What I also want to do is have a line crossing rule in play, where anyone driving on the wrong side of the road should also notify us, and I'll click on apply. And lastly, I will choose bicycles, because that's what I want this rule to display. And one click of a button, I create this rule, and now all these rules are in play. Last but not the least is our people counting rule, and this is because of the healthcare situation at this point, and we've created that as an occupancy tool of sorts. At this point, I would like to now move on to our research module, which is depicted over here. Now, our research module, our business intelligence tool, is our most advanced tool. It's one of those things that are actually really, really impressive. So what we do is, you've got the forensics tool and you've got the real-time analysis, but now we can give you behavioral and trend analysis. So all that video footage that has been recorded, now that's generating data for us. So for instance, this is a retail scene. And as you can see in this retail scene, everything is responsive to my moves. For instance, if I click on women, it will automatically change the data and show us all the average counts of how many women were there and what were their buying habits. If I were to switch the gender to men, then automatically men and women would show, and I can even switch off women and just show the data of men. And everything you see here will correspond to that and respond. Again, all those filters are in play again, and you can see that these filters can be used to generate this visual data. If I were to reset all these figures, now this was a retail dashboard. So out of the box, we have 19 different dashboards based on different verticals that you might need. For instance, we have consumer traffic and sales analysis. We have shopper analysis. We have shopping mall analysis. And if I were to go briefly into the shopping area analysis, you can actually see we have the ability to ingest an external source, such as the point of sale data, and we can ingest that and collaborate with the video data and present both to you, and you can do trend analysis. For instance, we see that between 1 and 2 p.m., the highest number of sales and the number of shoppers are there at the store. But towards the end of the night, the sales go down, but the number of shoppers are still quite high. So that is a place that we can actually study, we can actually go into and find out what are the reasons behind it. Why do shoppers not like to shop towards the end of the night, and why in between 1 and 2, it's the busiest times for the store. Furthermore, if I were to go into other templates, you can see we have the building occupancy tool, which is for our COVID situation. We have a smart city tool, we have a smart city dashboard, we have a license plate traffic violations board, we have a vehicle identification board with the class of vehicles and their corresponding number plates. And one click of a button, I have the ability to export all the number plates of the objects in the vehicle. So with that, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much for joining us. This was Mohammed from BriefCam. For more information, please reach out to us at briefcam.com.